Hello and welcome to Among the Outdoors. Today I have the Ruger Airhawk Elite II and I have owned this thing for about 5 months now, and it is time to give you an honest review before you was to purchase this, or if you're just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So I'll be giving you some pros and some cons. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So let's talk about the power for the Airhawk Elite II. So this thing is pumping out about 1,200 feet per second with the alloy pellet and about 1,000 feet per second with the lead pellet. The majority of the time I've owned this, I have been shooting the lead pellets for multiple reasons, and honestly I think it hits a little harder with the 1,000 feet per second with the lead, but that's just my opinion. The alloy pellets, they definitely got that zizz to them that I like, but it was kind of hard to make it as consistent shots with that versus the lead pellet. So that's why I was using the lead pellet for the majority of the time using this air rifle. One good thing that I did enjoy about this gun is that it did come with the scope, but the scope honestly I took off, as you can see. The scope, I could not get it to sight in and be consistent as possible enough to where I was like, okay, I'm ready to go squirrel hunting with this. So I took the initiative and took the scope off and just used the iron sights that it come with. I do like how it does come with iron sights, and you're probably thinking, well, most of them probably do. Well, I just bought a Gammo and that did not have iron sights. It was strictly just a scope setup. So it's kind of cool to have the two options of whatever you wanted to do, and I actually enjoyed using the iron sights. So let's talk about the reliability. This is a really big one for me. You know, it's kind of like having a Ferrari that doesn't work. Well, this is not the Ferrari. This is the Toyotas of the air rifle world. It works when you need it to. Every time I break the barrel and I put a pellet in there and pull the trigger, it shoots. That is one good thing I can say about this. I have taken this in the rain, squirrel hunting, long range shots, and I have never had a malfunction with this Ruger Airhawk Elite II, and I really appreciate that aspect of it, of, you know, the reliability of this thing, of when it shoots when I need it to. So I know I talked about the reliability of this, but let's talk about the durability. Overall, the whole gun as itself is a pretty solid build. It's got the nice solid plastic, not that cheap plastic. Got a nice butt stock there. Looks like built-in Picatinny rails, which is nice. But there was one issue. I'm not sure what happened, but it looks like I maybe could, these sights right here, I think I could, you know, replace those, but one of the neon sights broke off, so it kind of left me with a little issue when I was trying to use it as an iron sight. But you know, not the biggest deal in the world, but definitely an inconvenience if you do like using the iron sights. One good and negative thing, I don't know, I guess it depends on who you ask. It doesn't necessarily bother me that much, but this gun is a little bit on the loud side. Not sure why it's a little bit on the loud side compared to the other air rifles I shot. But just keep that in mind if you're buying this and you live next door to, you know, fairly close to somebody. You might get a noise complaint. I don't know, but it's not as loud as a 22, but it can definitely, it's like in the middle of an air rifle and a 22. So just keep that in mind if you was, you know, living close by with neighbors or something like that. You could possibly maybe, you know, have the Karen come out there and shake her fist at you. I don't know. So let's talk about the accuracy a little bit. This actually went through a balloon challenge at 25, 50, and 75 yards up against the 22 long rifle MP5, and this actually came out on top and won, and it got all the balloons on the 25 yards, 2 of the 3 of the 50 yards, and then it struggled once it started getting out there to 75 yards. I wasn't able to hit one with the iron sights at 75 yards, but overall it raked the slate clean with the MP5, and it took the win of that. So I think just out of the box, you know, if you can hit stuff consistently at 25 and 50 yards, that's what it was doing. It was pretty consistent around 25 and 50 yards, more so 25 with just the iron sight. So I'm sure if you spent a little money and got you a good scope for this, you could be out there in 75 yards if you wanted to, or even plus that. You know, who knows. But the real question is, would I buy this again? So if this broke today and I was like, darn, I miss my Ruger Airhawk Elite II, would I go buy another one? The answer is yes, I would. I would probably go back to Walmart and spend my $130 and get another one. But I think this one has a lot lot more life in it, and I get so much more use. And you know, overall, I think it's a good build. So for the price point of this, I think you'll be very satisfied with everything that it comes with. The reliability for this is probably off the charts. Like I said, I have never had a malfunction with this as many times as I've shot it so far, you know. But I think I've covered most of all the pros and cons with this Ruger Airhawk Elite II. But if I've missed anything, or that you've experienced something with this gun that I have not mentioned, please put it in the comments. That way we can kind of learn off each other and make better decisions when we're buying stuff like this. So as always, thank you for being among the outdoors, and we'll catch you next time.